Fox News reporting the pirates of the 21st century. What is it like for the families of the crews held hostage? Martha MacCallum finds out with a blow-by-blow account of a 56-day drama. From our Fox News headquarters in New York, here's Martha MacCallum.
Well, you may have heard of the Maersk, Alabama, but actually the first American ship that was ever hijacked in the Gulf of Aden was the MV Biscaglia back in November of 2008. The owner of that ship, James Christodoulou, takes us into the grueling talks that he engaged in to set his crew free.
They're my men. They were flying my company's flag. And they entrusted me with their safety, and I couldn't let them down.
James Christodoulou knows this firsthand. I spoke with the shipping financier about the nightmare he lived through when his tanker, the merchant vessel Biscaglia, was taken by pirates in November of 2008 off the coast of Africa.
Take me back. Tell me a little bit about the Biscaglia.
The Biscaglia was transiting the Gulf of Aden, carrying a load of palm oil from Indonesia to Spain.
28 crew members, 26 from India and 2 from Bangladesh, took special precautions while sailing these dangerous waters. From his home in New Jersey, Christodoulou nervously followed the ship's course.
We planned when to transit the area, at what time of day, at what speed, of course high speed, taking evasive maneuvers.
What kind of security measures at that time did you have on the ship?
We had barbed wires and netting across our decks and on our railing to deter pirates. We had British security guards on board, former SAS and other military guys on board to provide extra vigilance, to help the crew with evasion and defensive responses in the event of an attack.
You wish that they had guns?
No. I'm still on the fence about having lethally armed security guards on board the ships also.
Typically unarmed because the biggest problem with merchant shipping is the insurance and the crew unions for putting arms on board and then getting arms between different continents and countries.
Despite the security, on November 28th, 6 Somali pirates attacked.
They had 2 skiffs, speedboats, that came at us from opposite ends. We were all getting ready for defensive operations. They still kept coming. They fired their RPG at our ship. They shot AK-47s at our ship, and they just kept coming.
And how did they get on? It was a ladder?
It was a ladder and grappling hook. They just pulled up alongside the ship as we were doing our maneuvers. Then they, climbed on board the ship. An attack that lasted.
So what did the security guards do at that point?
Once they saw that the pirates were on board with the machine guns, there was really nothing else that they could do.
The pirates were going through the ship, shooting out the cabins, looking for the security guards. They were going to be hunted down and killed.
And to their credit, they actually abandoned ship or evacuated the ship. And I think that was the right thing to do. There was nothing they could do anymore for that hostage situation, and I think their presence on board the ship would have only made matters worse.
So take me through the phone call, however it was that you got this news.
Very early Friday morning, the day after Thanksgiving, just after midnight, I received a call from one of my technical superintendents. The call came in to me and said, the Biscaglia is being attacked by pirates and has been captured. And it was those words that set in motion 56 and plus days worth of intense negotiations and strategizing on a bunch of different levels.
How do you make contact? How do you know what number to call?
We had a special phone set up for communications with the pirates. This is where all of the negotiations and all the communications occurred with the pirates. Of course, we had our special pirate phone. They were the only ones who had this number, and so our objective for the duration of the crisis was to always be available for this phone and buy this phone. The things that are in the back of your mind, are they going to execute someone and you hear it on the phone? Is it going to be real or is it going to be fake? What do you tell the families?
Tell me about, there was a grandmother of one of the crew members
Granny.
Who wouldn't eat.
Granny went on a hunger strike. And it's when her son, the seafarer's father, called me up and said, look, my mother, his grandmother's on a hunger strike. She will not eat. That's when I said, okay, call a family meeting, get everybody together, get me to India in 48 hours so I can prevent these emotions, which are very natural, very normal, from taking control and consuming the situation. I flew over there, and for 5 hours, I was surrounded by probably 90 family members asking me questions and trying to implore them to try and live as normal a life as they could, and to make them understand that their loved ones' safety was as important to me as it was to them, and that we were going to do absolutely everything that we could to get them out safely. At the end of those 4 hours, Granny started to eat.
Tell me about the negotiation, how you arrived at a money figure.
I will tell you, tactically is really no more complicated or sophisticated than negotiating the purchase of a used car. They start high, you start low, and through tedious, gut-wrenching negotiations designed to exhaust each other to the point where they just want to be done with you. You finally arrive at a price.
On January 22nd, 2009, 56 days after the ship was taken, a plane dispatched by Christodoulou dropped over $1 million into the ocean next to the Biscaglia. Hours later, the pirates escaped. The crew was free.
We had a very elaborate reunion of the crew with their families, and we provided physical, psychological counseling. We stay in touch with them. They knew how well we took care of their families. As I said, this was really a human drama. It was a hostage crisis. I cared about the men and their families, and we focused everything on making sure that those guys would be taken care of and okay.
The war